If you know your script, if you know what your product is, you have a confidence in your product, then don't wait around, just get after it. You'll figure out the rest as you go.
That's a good tip for a lot of agents, because a lot of agents they'd spend a week of the month just strategizing and thinking.
They'd have a map quest out. They'd have their Google Maps. They'd like, all right, I'm going to go on this street.
And then a week later, you guys would be up 20, be 20-0 on them.
And we'd learn a lot in that week.
Yeah, exactly. You'd learn a ton.
Fail quickly so you can move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd be so much farther ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the CA Power Players Podcast. I'm in a special place with a couple of my favorite people in the whole wide world today. We release this and launch this every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. I love these episodes. Today's going to be maybe more like, I don't know, if it's like a Friends podcast or a cage match. We're going to see how it goes down.
Yes,
but I got
please.
Casey Peterson and Lee Wilson, all the way from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks, sir.
man.
Yeah, appreciate
Friends. I like friends. Cage match.
Frenemies,
We'll see.
maybe.
Look at those arms.
Dude, I got some good questions. We'll see where this goes. You never know, right?
Bring it.
I
You're
love
very
it.
confident.
I love it. Well, we're also here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Because we're here a part of
Gorgeous.
Power Players, which is awesome. Dude, it's so nice, isn't it?
This is amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. I appreciate you guys being a part of this, by the way.
Well, not hard.
Yeah. Twist your arm.
Yeah.
Going to Puerto Rico with a bunch of, other people that are
I was like,
doing big
Alicia,
things.
Alicia, you want to go to Puerto? Yes.
No, I didn't finish. No, yes.
Puerto- she says yes, go.
Yes. Real quick. You guys joined Power Players pretty quick.
Yep.
Why?
So I figured out pretty quick last year. My very first event was 1% in Scottsdale.
Wow. That's a good first one.
And my goal was to do at least a couple of events.
Yeah.
Ended up doing 5 or 6 and realized I need to be in the room. Like, even if I think I don't have time, whatever else, like, there's so much value being in the room, creating those relationships, helping me think bigger, realizing, wow, like, I thought I was doing well, but you're doing what?
Yeah.
How? And you're going to tell that to me? You're going to share that with me? Are you kidding me? So it's been pretty powerful for sure.
That's awesome. How about you, Casey?
I just follow Lee. Whatever Lee says, I'm like, I've got bugs in his office and cameras, and whatever he says he's going to do, I do. No,
I didn't know you were going to let that secret out, the cameras.
Yeah,
and
we trust each other now. So it's funny, we, in 2 different ways, we went to the same event in live. 1% was my first event as well.
Wow.
We'd been on the phone, we'd done things on the phone and video and that kind of stuff before that, but that was my first big event, and I feel the same way. The other thing is that it gave me a reason to put on my calendar 2 times a year at minimum, to be around people that encourage me. And so, and I can bring my wife and spend time with the people we become friends and family with. And I mean, our wives are down at the pool right now.
Yeah.
Your mom, your dad, my parent, my
Yeah, you
wife.
can literally see them all.
Yeah, they're all down there,
right there.
My
wondering
parents,
what we're doing
my
up here in the air
team, y'all's
conditioning.
wives, my wife. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It's cool.
But to be around, last night I was sitting around the pool with Kim and talking about what
Yes.
she's doing and the big things she's changing, and she was giving me some advice on what she's doing, and this kind of conversations. I'm going to grab Matt Evans here in a second and
Cool.
Roger Short. We get to have access to those people in a really relaxed environment.
Yeah. So for those who don't know Casey and Lee, they're both Medicare powerhouses. They both have Medicare agencies. They sell obviously other products as well, but that's the core. And they both live in Idaho Falls, Idaho. And technically, most would say you guys are competitors.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely,
What do you guys think about that?
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have someone that you can trust.
Yeah.
Like, we can both be successful, right? It's not like I'm going to tear down Casey or, say bad things about him or his business or his agents. Like, hey, man, if you can be a millionaire and I can be a millionaire, hey, it's nice to have rich friends, right? Like, let's both get there,
I love
right?
that.
Right?
So,
What you couldn't find, I don't know if you're going to find 2 people that are, our businesses, our offices are less than a mile apart.
Yeah. I've been to both too.
Yeah,
right.
and I could not agree with Lee more again. We're not in a big city. I think there's probably 65, 70,000 people.
It's like half the size of Springfield then.
Yeah, and our businesses are both growing in leaps and bounds, and we have 2 or 3 other big competitors that are also growing in leaps and bounds. It doesn't matter if it's Medicare, life insurance, whatever. There's enough business to go around. You don't have to tear people down. You can be friends. And if I have a question, the first person I normally call is him. And I think
the same.
same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny too though, because you're always you're at a lot of events together.
Yeah.
1%, you're up there sharing what's working well for you in your area, knowing that Casey's sitting there, and vice
Taking
versa.
notes.
taking notes, right? And so that's what's cool about what y'all have done, what you've built. And it's neat too, because you're right, Idaho Falls, not a lot of people. I don't know how many Medicare beneficiaries there are, but there ain't a ton. But in that area and around that area, you've got other people with huge books too, not just the two of you. And so it's a very interesting market, but it's also a market and a state that's got a lot more opportunity than people realize. You know, it really does.
Actually, it's terrible. Don't come there.
Yeah, you should never go. Yeah, they've really tapped it out.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
It's no more growth.
yeah, none available.
Go back to the power. Why I signed up. I won't speak for you. The Power Players puts you in close proximity to people who have the same mentality. You know, there's not a single person that I become friends with here, and I'll say that. I've told you before, business is personal to me. I don't like that business isn't personal, it's just business. I don't agree with that. So there's not a single person I become friends with that I couldn't pick up the phone and ask a question.
True.
Not a single one that I barely know. I mean, you get to know people and you put them in these rooms. They're all drivers. They're all hustlers. They're all, I mean, most of them downstairs at the pool right now have their laptops or their phones on their ear.
They do.
Drives our spouses crazy, but we still have fun. We still have a good time, and we're able to grow and help each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Being in the room to me means a lot of things, but it means being around people who are going to encourage me and that I can encourage them.
Yeah, it's a community, you know?
Absolutely.
I think that's a cool way to put it. It's just like you're a part of a community where it is neat. Alex, can you hand me my water, by the way, too? It's crazy how, like, most people wouldn't think that you could just call the other 60-something people that are in this group, thank you, and also ask them questions and learn from them. And that's really what we wanted to build. But it's interesting too. Like a lot of people people could give us credit, but when you get the right people together, magic happens. And you guys are a couple of the right people, that's for sure.
Thanks, man.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Now it's time to stop being nice and to just go at each other. Okay?
Bring it. Let's do
So, first question 1, okay? Have you ever thought about sabotaging the other's business, ever?
By advice of counsel, I can't answer that question. I can answer that question. No.
No.
You know, we bump into each other. Our clients have met with Lee or his agents. I'm sure that similar happens.
It's had to have happened.
Yeah. Lee's called me. Hey, this person showed up in our office because they thought they were going to your office.
Well, I mean, what do you have, like 5,000-6,000 clients combined? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Lee has called me. Hey, your client is sitting in my office for a new to Medicare appointment.
Wow.
Right? I've called Lee and said, hey, I ran into one of your agents' people. Here's what's going on. I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good.
Right.
You get a reputation. So I remember when I first started in Idaho, there was an agent that was just going around and getting agent of record. That's all he was doing. Just writing agent of record. He wasn't.
Do you know who he's talking about?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I won't use
No.
the
I
name.
don't want to.
But no lookup for their drugs, no lookup for their doctors, going and seeing what plan they're on, and then just simply putting an agent of record in place. And that agent got a name, you're right? And I turned him into the couple of insurance companies because I knew he wasn't doing the right thing for them. But you sabotage somebody, it'll come out in the wash.
It
You'll
always
get that
does.
reputation. Yeah, and
It
makes work so much more fun when you just have integrity
Yes.
and don't have to worry about, is this going to catch up to me and bite me in the butt? Or just do what's right for people. Man, life is simple. That way, right? Just simple. So
It is. And it keeps your head like clean with just whatever, you know, like it's so easy to be thinking about other stuff or other people or, you know, and not accomplish anything or do anything. But you guys have a couple of the bigger hearts, you know, and just really deep down good people. That's what we've always, I feel like, got along really well. Do you have an agreement? This is one of Derek's questions, okay? Do you have an agreement in place where if one of your pre-existing clients goes into the other's office that you have to steal them?
have to, yes.
just proper.
I actually have a story about this.
Okay, let's hear it.
Really? Do share.
You know this story.
Okay, I was hoping you didn't know.
No, I know.
That'd make it even
He's not
better.
going to remember it as this way. So we're on this trip, right? We're bringing our wives. I normally get trip insurance. So,
Do you get trip insurance?
I do now.
so
Okay.
I got trip insurance. I sent a link to Lee, and he bought trip insurance. So the next day, I get this pop up from our trip insurance company. Lee Wilson bought a policy. The next day in our sales meeting, and my team are like, I sold Lee Wilson a policy. My guys are like, you've got to print that off and put it on the wall. You made a commission on Lee Wilson. So I
$17 commission,
$17.
baby. And he's riding that all the way.
Geo Blue that I just killed it. So yeah, that was like a highlight for my guys.
Oh,
like
that's
we got
funny.
Lee Wilson on the books. So no, they all like Lee. That's the thing.
I don't know how you don't like Lee.
I don't know how you don't like Lee. Well,
You know?
he's got integrity.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Likewise, again, that's why it's fun to be in the room and be with these kind of people, because it's amazing how many people in this group have very similar values, right?
Yes.
To, multiple aspects of life, like very, very similar. Just
Yeah.
want to do what's right for people, want to help people grow. So to be around that, we're isn't it said that we're like the five people we spend the most time with, right?
Right.
So the more I can
That's right.
spend time with guys like you,
Yeah.
and Roger Short and others, like, man, I'm just going to level up every time.
Yes.
There's a mentorship too, and it's an unspoken mentorship. Like your dad, we went to lunch yesterday.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to spend time with me at lunch. He's got plenty of people clamoring for his time, but he was generous and invited us, to lunch, and
Cool.
to be able to spend time. And then of course, my wife drives her crazy. I'm asking him questions and peppering him with, how did you do this and what do you think of that? But I think that there's a generosity amongst the people that are in these groups that is pretty awesome.
It's pretty special.
It is.
It really is. Yeah, it's very special. If you both had to go sell 100 new Medicare policies next month, and you had to do it by 100% door knocking, who would win?
I think I would.
He made a smirk.
Come on.
He said, I would. He made a smirk.
You know that's not true. Come on. That's not even close. I think it'd be tough. I think we both do pretty good.
Oh, now he's going to be modest.
No, I mean, seriously. I think
Is he losing confidence after you said
I think so.
No,
Yeah.
Is that what's
there's
happening
there's no loss of confidence. I'm not. No, yeah. I wouldn't. I don't like door knocking. I wouldn't like it, but if there was a
But
competition,
if it was you and him,
I'd
you
go
would
after
like
it.
It would
I
be
go after
interesting.
it. It would be midnight, and I'd be waking old people up.
That's exactly
had to.
right.
Yeah.
What would the strategy be? I mean, because technically not supposed to door knock for Medicare Advantage, but
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
what would the strategy be? Is there something that came to mind when I asked that question from like a strategy for maybe a new agent learning and listening that doesn't have the competitiveness or somebody to like compete against per se? I do think it'd be one heck of a challenge that we should video and televise to the world and follow each of you around. But is there some strategy that came to mind when I asked that question?
Instantly.
A couple things, yeah.
What were
Yeah.
they?
I wouldn't plan. I'd just go start.
Okay.
That kind of encapsulates everything that I've learned in the last 18 months.
How many knocks do you think it would take? Details delay, yeah, what you're about to
Details
say.
delay.
Totally. But how many knocks do you think it would take? So you got to sell 100. That's 5 a day for 20 days, 20 business days. That's assuming you take weekends off and you sell 5 a day. How many knocks and doors would you have to get in to write 5 a day?
Well, that's a big difference. Get in. If you get in front of them and they're eligible, we're going to knock them down.
So you think maybe knock 50, get inside of 10, sell 5-ish, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you may be known. I mean, you're running commercials.
That's what I was going to say. Is we've done a pretty good job of creating a local brand. So
Would the celebrity factor help him?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe.
I have people at restaurants or waiters or in the stores kind of look at me like, I'm pretty sure I've seen you somewhere. And yes, you have. You've seen me on TV.
That's
and
cool.
Kids in my church like, I saw you on TV. Like, I think it's the coolest thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've done a pretty good job of building a local brand. So if they saw me, saw my logo,
Yep.
like, oh wait, I know you guys.
New
So
TV campaign.
a little
I'm
bit of
coming
credibility
to
there,
knock
I
on your
think.
door.
Let me
When
in.
I do, let me in.
That's
okay?
right. I'm coming.
And then a
I'm
picture
coming.
of this guy. Don't let this guy in. It's Casey's face.
He's been known to scam and
This
and,
guy
and
is
do.
dishonest.
He only does agent of record. You're
Yes,
not gonna like
yes.
this guy.
Terrible.
Oh, that's good.
Just get in and go.
Yeah.
I just start knocking on doors. If you know your script, if you know what your product is, you have a confidence in your product, then don't wait around. Just get after it. You'll figure out the rest as you go.
That's a good tip for a lot of agents because a lot of agents they'd spend a week of the month just strategizing and thinking.
They'd have a map quest out. They'd have their Google Maps. They'd like, all right, I'm going to go on this street.
and then a week later, you guys would be up 20,
Yeah,
be 20-0 on them.
And we'd learn a lot in that week.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You'd
true.
learn a ton.
Fail
and
quickly so you can move on, right?
Yeah, you'd be so much farther ahead.
Yeah.
And then in the second week, I'd get 3 guys to do it with me.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured it out. Now I know what I'm doing. And that's really what the two of us have done in our business.
That's a good point. I didn't say you couldn't leverage
That
other
was my
people.
strategy. Dang it.
You let it out.
Instantly. I'm like, okay, I'll do this for a couple
I didn't
days.
say you couldn't use a team, I guess. That's
true.
a good
But
point.
the two
then,
of us-
then that becomes easy. Then you could do that in a week. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you had 4 guys knocking 50 doors.
But you
a
guys
day,
aren't doing that a week now.
a week, not
Yeah.
a week. Nope. In a month, a little more.
I got some fun. I'm thinking of some fun case studies I've got for the next few days for power players. That's for like some small group discussion stuff. That's going to be cool. Yeah,
Nice.
It's going to be really cool. It's fun.
You have to have a team that wants to go that way with you too. You have to have a group of people that want to go that way with you.
So that brings up a good point. How do you, when you're building a team, they've got to believe in you. They got to see the vision, and they got to want to go somewhere with you. How do you do that? How do you help that? How do you do that? How do you build that?
For me, it's just having them see me talk to people. I love to talk to people. I love to add value. I like to say, hey, you're here, and I want to move you to a better place.
Yeah.
Then to have them see me do that and realize, oh, I can make money doing that instead of selling crap over here that they don't need, or selling this over here, or dealing in a job that I haven't gotten a raise in 4 years. Like, I can help people, put them in a better place, and help my family get in a better place at the same time. Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's do that, right? So it makes it pretty easy for them to catch the fire, catch the vision, be like, I want that.
Yes.
So I'm going to call Lee out with, he's going to hate this, but I'm going to do it. So we were at a meeting.
Now the cage match begins.
No, this is a good thing. So we were in a meeting last week, and we were each supposed to, not each, there was 4 people at the meeting that were supposed to get up and present, and Lee's presentation was awesome, as it always is.
Thanks.
But he got a little emotional. We talked about taking one of his agents to a level of income that they'd never, ever had gotten in a very short
feeling.
period of time. And
I'm getting goosebumps as you're saying that.
And when I say emotional, he was crying like a baby. I'm just kidding.
Just weeping.
Weeping. It was uncomfortable.
Fetal position on the floor.
It was ugly crying.
I cannot believe it.
Lee, get off of the floor.
How dare you?
No,
You had to
but
pick
no,
him up?
I tried. He's so
Console
big.
me.
Maybe you and one other person.
Yeah, there was 4 or 5 of us. But he got emotional in that he was so excited. So when you say, how do you get them there? They see your heart. And Lee's guys, there's no way they don't know his heart. And I think it's really important. We were at 1%, and Tyler Reese was on a panel. And Tyler said, if you haven't sat down and explained in detail where you're going to the people that are going there with you, you're never going to get there.
Good point.
And it was like so simple, but kind of a revelation. So there's a constant every single day. We know where we're going. I tell them what our yearly goal as an agency, what their goals. We talk about them every day. So I got a text from my assistant. We're doing this campaign of mailing, and it's Mason, one of my agents been with the longest, who's a phenomenal, and one of my newest agents holding a receipt from the post office. And I'm not joking, it's 20 feet long, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Because at the post office, so silly. They sit and they give you a receipt, a charge for every single, $2 charge anyway. And he was excited about that. And I sent him a text. I'm like, that's part of our goal. That's going to help you get to where you want to get. There's a spend, there's a time, there's an effort. Well, his response back to me is like, it was really fun for me and my wife to do that. His wife doesn't work for me. She's not in our agency, but him and his wife stayed up to put all those mailers together and put it together. And he was excited about the effort and what it was going to take.
And they enjoyed it.
And they enjoyed it. Now, they're phenomenal people. Him and his wife are amazing people. But
he
knows our vision. He shares in it.
He's a good dude,
contributing it. Yeah, and he's and all of them. I mean, all of them there. Colin and Justin and Christina, they're just all amazing. So that helps.
That's cool. Seeing the vision, that's important.
Yeah.
You are officed right by the Social Security office.
Correct.
How much has that helped your business?
A lot. I was talking to my wife about this last week. At the time, it was a bigger space than I thought I needed, and now I've outgrown it already.
It's funny how that works too.
Right? It was more rent than I thought I could afford. But after looking at a bunch of other locations, I thought, this just makes too much sense not to be here. I have to make this work. So thankfully, so my office, people have to walk around my office to get to the Social Security office. So they see my signage, they see my logo. They're, oh yeah, I've seen these guys. So just the walk-ins alone have more than paid for my rent for the last 24 months.
Wow. How many walk-ins would you say if you had to just guess? I know you're not going to know exactly.
That actually enroll, probably 8 to 10 a month.
96 to 120 new
Stop with the math.
Medicare policies a year just from that one decision, though.
Yeah.
How smart is that?
Well, I looked at the space, and I passed on it. I did not have the vision that Lee did.
Wow.
Lee
It's cool, though.
Lee's strategic. He's smart. He saw it way better than I did.
Yeah. I would have never thought that, to be honest. I would have never thought that was a good move. But people listening and watching, maybe there's moves like that in your city that you don't recognize or realize, which brings me to the point of y'all are also doing or I'm curious if what you've done and what you've tried from an old-fashioned marketing standpoint. You're doing a lot of direct mail. You're doing some TV. TV, billboard, radio. I actually do believe locally that stuff does help a ton to hear your voice, see your face, billboard, see both, TV, etc. What's your thoughts on a local agency owner doing more of that in their space?
Again, for me, TV has been really big. That's my main driver of new business for the last year and a half.
Wow.
And again, at first, initially I thought it's probably too expensive. I'm just a small fish.
Why is it always the first thought? Same thing with the office, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's a great
A
question.
lot of people
I think
have
it's
that.
just-
That's happened to people all
Right.
day.
Limiting belief. You just assume, oh, I can't do that. Of course you can. Are you kidding me? Or if you can't, just figure out how you can. Right?
Yeah.
Well, the math, I think the math you laid out for me one time, if it costs me X, but I can make Y, why wouldn't I do that 10 times
As
over?
much X as you can.
Keep giving me that as long as it keeps delivering this. So direct mail has gotten more expensive with less return, but it still produces enough to pay for itself. It's dwindling,
Yeah.
but it still produces enough. I mean, we sent in our little state, we sent 81,000 pieces last AEP. For a little state of ours, that's a lot of pieces of mail. That's a huge expense. But
It's like everybody got 12 pieces.
yeah, we were sending to cows. There was people. Everybody got them. But yeah, but it still returns.
That's cool.
But it's a huge spend.
Yeah.
But
what is that, 50 grand?
Yeah, a little more.
40, 50 grand? 50, 60 grand?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But worth it.
For
Sure.
Yeah.
With TV, I did it my first AEP. I thought, okay, I'll just try this on one station. Had a budget of like $1,500 a month. Not a big deal, but had enough of a return and thought, well, why am I not doing this 2 or 3 times as much?
Yeah.
So tripled down on my TV budget. And as I mentioned at 1%, it's been really nice because I love inbound calls.
Correct.
People walking to me or coming to my office saying, I saw your commercial, I want your help.
Yeah.
So I've not had success with direct mail. I haven't done it enough to really quantify that very well, I guess. But I've loved TV, building a local brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it also helps me retain my clients because they
Yeah.
see me on a regular basis, right? If they see me 50 times a year in their house, even if it's during Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or the local news,
Right.
there's something to that where they're like, oh, that's my guy. Or I've been to that office. Or, oh, yeah, I'm with my sister. You need to go see this guy as
So
well.
it would help a lot with retention referrals then too,
I think so.
where people don't think of that. They just think of the immediate ROI.
No, your
Right.
clients see it.
Yeah, they don't think of the retention from my clients. Oh, my dude's on TV, or, hey, you're talking to a friend. Who should you use for Medicare? You know what? Lee, yeah, I just saw him on TV yesterday. That's my agent.
Right.
Also, too, a lot of people don't know who their agent is. I think they do with you guys in a lot of ways. A lot of people don't remember. They can't think of the name. It's on a magnet on their fridge, but they're at the grocery store, right?
Sure.
Whatever. And that adds a lot of additional detail to where they're seeing it and hearing it. I'm guessing you're saying your name on the commercial?
Absolutely.
What's the commercial like? You don't have to give the exact specifics, obviously, but what does it sound like? What does it look like? What do you do?
So the first one I did was a testimonial commercial. It was actually just me with actual clients sitting in my desk and
Wow.
them saying, we use Teton Medicare because of such and such. We use Teton Medicare because of this. So ran that for the first AEP.
It worked?
It worked fairly well. Some people said they didn't know what that meant, like what we actually offered, which I thought was a good point. So I changed that a little bit. I'm pretty real. I try to be pretty authentic, and so I write my own scripts on my commercials and basically say like, you deserve to know what's real. Don't call some random 800 number and talk to some paid celebrity because paid celebrities don't know Medicare. You know that. So work with someone local right here in town that you know is going to do what's best for you, and that's what we do here at Teton Medicare. So blah blah blah.
Boom.
So it's been
That's
good.
Smart.
It's been good.
His competitiveness came out. He was attacking. He was on the offensive, right? Which is
Yeah.
good. That's a strong ad.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
It's really good. He did a great job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I think it's important to, because this is a lot of new agents that are on this podcast, right?
Oh, combo.
All kind of. So there's ways
More new naturally, just because of the stats. But yeah,
there's ways to do that, because I 100% agree with everything that Lee said. There's ways to do it at no cost. So we had a group. It's a large real estate firm in our town that came to us, and they do this thing called Nosy Neighbors. And for no cost, They came to our office and interviewed me, did a tour of our office, created a whole presentation. It's a 30-minute video if you watch the whole thing, which you wouldn't. But then they put it out in all of there, and they're trying to attract new people that are moving into Idaho to use them. So they're telling you, here's these businesses you want to use, here's these companies you want to get to know. And then we took that and we're using it in other media. But it cost me $0, nothing. They had an old production team that came, they cut the video, they came and interviewed us, and it was... You can do things like that. There's ways to do similar activities when you're brand new for very little or no cost. Smart.
Have either one of you tried Billboard?
I looked into it.
I haven't yet. I've looked into it as well.
The challenge is COVID, and everybody uses that excuse. But the three big billboard companies all said that they were signing contracts for 1 to 2 years, and so the good billboards in the areas that would hit both of our businesses were tied up for a long time.
Do you ever thought about buying a billboard above his office?
Oh yeah, right in front.
He would too, man.
I do a Medicare seminar at the restaurant in front of his office.
That's true. I saw the little diner that he does the seminars
Run
at.
my own parking lot.
Right in your parking lot. They're seeing Teton Medicare and they're going in to talk to generations.
We keep moving his yard signs. No, we don't. We were doing the meetings there before he moved in that space.
That's the excuse.
We're going to keep doing them there.
That's good.
Run a Generations Insurance flag up the flagpole.
Yeah. How do we, I mean, neither one of you have iPhones.
I do. Sitting in my office, I'm switching to it.
Oh, it's his fault that it's showing up green then.
Yes, I have the iPhone. He's a little slow.
You're the smart
I'm the
one.
old guy.
Okay, now I'm seeing what's going on here.
It will be rectified
Casey.
when I get back. It's Casey.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, when he gets home, we're getting him on an iPhone.
I have it sitting in my office. I finally got converted.
That's awesome. I love that. We got a couple more minutes. If you could impart some wisdom or share some ideas or strategies or maybe mistakes, right, that you've made or learned along the way to help another agent or agency owner, what would you leave them with? What would you share?
Move quickly. We kind of alluded to that, but move quickly. I know Casey said this in Naples at our Power Players, and I actually had it on my notes to say during my presentation, but hire an assistant before you think you need one.
Yes.
Before you can afford one.
Let them take a lot off your plate so that you can make more revenue, right? Focus on revenue-generating activities, not all the nonsense that can bog us down and slow us down. So move quickly, build. For me, it was... Well, no one's going to do it as well as I can, right? So is it worth bringing on more people to have to babysit and blah, blah? And again, those were limiting beliefs that were just BS. And so build a team, again, quickly. Have some systems and processes in place to make it easier for you and for them, but build that team. So this last AEP, right before AEP, I brought on 2 LOA agents. So they were writing business for my agency. They get a base salary and a split of the commission. But I could have tried to do it all myself, and I would have had a good year. My best year from what I did by myself, my personal production. But bringing on these 2 other LOAs, they both did about 50% of what I did. So I basically doubled my production as an agency.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Yes, they're getting a small piece of that pie, but man, is that worth it. And now I'm here in Puerto Rico, and guess what? They're writing business while I'm here in Puerto Rico.
Making money.
Right? So it's as good as it gets. So couple.
That's strong.
Did you just roll your R? Did you just
Puerto Rico?
Dude. Whoa.
Puerto.
I was
Idaho.
gonna let that slide.
These are
the 2 whitest guys in Puerto Rico.
This is good. I can't even do that.
I can't do it either.
Well, you just did it pretty good too.
Oh, man.
Okay, so how long have you been in the business? Or been building your agency like you are now?
So I was captive for 5 years with Humana.
Yep.
But really building my own agency for the last 5 years.
Okay, for the last 5
as an
years.
Independent broker.
Knowing what you know now, if you would have moved quickly, hired an assistant before you needed it, focused on revenue generating activities, and built a team, how fast could you rebuild it?
Pretty dang quick.
Like what, 18 months, 2 years, a year, 2.5?
Yeah, I would say 18 months to 2 years.
That's awesome. How crazy is that? What that means is, and these two are doing very well, any of you could do the exact same thing much, much, much quicker, which is awesome. Yeah, that's incredible. That's literally, instead of 60 months, we're talking 18, right? So he's saying, hey, I could have built it at least 70% quicker. It's pretty awesome. All right, Casey, what's some ideas that you could share, strategies?
Strategies?
So Lee talked about moving quickly,
yeah.
hiring assistant,
Yep.
that kind of thing.
I want to go back to the assistant thing, and so that if you go back in time when I didn't think I could afford it, it would be I'd probably sit on the other side of this video and like that guy because they're making money, they can afford it, that's why they can say that.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it when I did it, but I thought I couldn't. You get into it and you figure out what you can give to that person. And Tatiana was saying at Naples, I shouldn't be doing minimum wage activities. And that I wrote that down, and that's I shouldn't. And I'm not downplaying my assistant. I pay her quite a bit more than minimum wage, but those activities that she's so good at and competent and does better than I did, by the way, more efficiently, quicker, right? So I think that's important. So what would strategies? I cannot say this enough. I know I'm a broken record, so I don't know why you keep having me on these videos. Details delay.
Yeah.
It was an epiphany when you said it. It's epiphany every day. I have it in my office in a poster. I sent you a copy of it because it was so powerful for me. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to figure out every single detail. You're never going to get there.
True.
You're going to make some stupid mistakes. That's business. Anybody that tells you they did what they got where they're at and they were successful throughout the whole thing without any mistakes is a liar. Yeah. They made huge mistakes. If the more successful are, the bigger the mistakes they made.
Correct.
The big mistakes, I made one last year. I hired an agent that was in another state. He's a fantastic person, but he couldn't be as part of our team. He couldn't be there every day to get advice and help and encouragement. And it was probably a $15,000 or $20,000 mistake on my part that I put into advertising and time and effort and lost revenue because my attention was focused where it shouldn't have been. That's a stupid mistake. I've been doing this 14 years. I should have known better. But I did it, and I thought it was the right move to make. But you do enough of those stupid mistakes and you figure out a few really, really good ones. And those really, really good ones are what's going to propel you. So stop worrying about it. Stop trying to figure out, okay, when I make a call, I'm going to have this script and it's going to exactly perfect. No. Start making calls. Start making calls, and through those calls, you're going to get educated on what works and what doesn't. You're going to figure out your tone is great. You're going to figure out your message, your delivery, what things to focus on. And you're only going to figure that out successfully if you do it. Yeah. It's no different. When I was getting ready to build our office, somebody's like, well, don't you want to take some more time to plan? I'm like, no, I've been thinking about this for a year. I wish I would have started it 2 years ago. Let's just go. We'll figure it out on the way. And we did.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's
don't
good.
Sit around and wait.
That's good. How long have you been building your own agency?
This is our 14th year.
14th year?
I really started focusing on it 3 years ago.
Okay. How much faster could you have done it now, right?
He said 18 months.
17?
17. Maybe 16.
Shocker.
Figured that was coming.
You notice I waited to answer.
Yes.
No, I was talking about this last night. When I look at my volume on our active policies and how long it took me to get to the number we're at, we gained more in the last 2 years than I did the previous 5 or 6. And we'll gain more in the next 12 months than we did in the last 2. My goal is to every 6 months be able to double what we did the previous year. And if we could just keep doing that. So, yeah, it would be 18 months or less. Easy.
That's awesome.
And not easy. It'd be hard.
Sure.
But I know how to do it.
Correct.
Give me a backpack and a laptop and a cell phone and some kits and drop me in anywhere and we'll figure it out.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Stop doing minimum wage activities. There's some similarities with their answers, by the way, if you can't tell. It's details delay. You're going to make mistakes, right?
Stop worrying about it.
Stop worrying about it. Take some action. I love it. This has been good. Thank you both so much for being on.
He is the man. I know there's a lot of videos out there, people thinking we have some rivalry, but we get along really well.
Yeah. Very well. I respect the heck out of this guy. He's like a brother.
I agree 100%.
Makes it extremely fun.
And if you've met his wife, that's the best part about Lee.
She is the best part of me.
She's awesome.
She's amazing.
She's so cool.
And my wife too. Thanks, Lee, for not.
They both are.
Jeez. Alicia's the best thing ever.
He didn't give me a chance.
That's right. And you got great families.
Yeah.
Good kids.
Yeah, we hung out with ourselves and another broker on the other side of the state. Went to a cabin for a few days, went snowmobiling, hung out, stuff like talk business. It's just makes it so much more fun when you can just enjoy it and all grow.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a definite respect and competition, but it's healthy and there's a personal relationship.
Correct.
Business is hard.
Yeah.
Running a business is hard. I don't care. I was by myself just like Lee. I was a captive agent for years. That was really hard and lonely. I wish I would have had this community back then. It was lonely, right? Yeah. Even when you're captive and you're working with a big organization, that's not fun. It was very lonely, and I didn't know what I was doing, and nobody was helping me. So this is fun.
Good. So it sounds like if they're watching, they're not Empower players and they're on the fence, they need to jump over that freaking fence, don't they?
Come on.
Yeah.
Yep. Move quickly. Get here.
Better move real quick to get down here.
They can
Starting
see.
tonight.
They can see this, right, in the video.
I think
Is the camera
I
picking
think
up
some
that
of it, yeah.
the blue water and the waves and the palm
Gorgeous.
trees?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
The
Nice.
community is amazing. Appreciate you guys. I'm grateful for the
you.
relationship. Grateful for everything that y'all do. You're part of 8%. You're part of a lot of stuff that we do. Our relationships have grown a ton. And so thank you for all that you do and for being a part of this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
you.
it.
And you're expanding the community and continue to make it better, all the way from Idaho Falls. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey Peterson, Lee Wilson, thanks for listening to CA Power Players Podcast. Can't promise you it'll be as entertaining and funny and incredible as this one, but we'll see you on the next one. I've noticed a lot of people that are watching our content that want to sell life insurance at a high level, but they do not have, I mean, there's really, I notice, we're going to talk through some of these, but I notice like they don't have a lot of money.
Right.
Or if they do, they don't have enough that they just want to waste a bunch of it.
Right.
Or if